What's going on, everybody? Dialerix TV back with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the Los Angeles Lakers, their marvelous performance that they just put on versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Lakers just defeated the Minnesota Timberwolves 108-103. And this game went down to the wire. Really good game. Early on, the Lakers controlled the pace. Even though Stanley Johnson did particularly have a great offensive game, he struggled, but at the same time, his defensive presence was felt in this game. His activity rate was very high, and I really liked the lineup of him and Avery Bradley. But to me, what stood out tonight from the Los Angeles Lakers was competing at a high level and defense, defense, defense. Very competitive game. I love the back and forth banter between Patrick Beverley, Westbrook. It just seemed like the trash talk. It was a really great game. And when basketball is, when it's competition like this is when it's at its best. And I just enjoyed tonight's game. Malik Monk had the three going tonight, and they did a really good job tonight at just going out there, hitting shots. Avery Bradley was knocking down shots. Great on-ball defender, man. And I know I'm all over the place, but I just got finished watching the game, and the energy levels is high. Just got finished washing the dishes, like at the same time while I was watching the game. So it was a really great game, and I love to see competition. The Lakers lost their lead. They had a lead early on, and they lost the lead because it seems as though it just seemed too easy, and Minnesota, they started to get a lot more physical, and it seems like the tide started to change. I cannot remember the guy's name, but he was hitting a lot. It's number 5 for the Minnesota Timberwolves. He was hitting a three-point shot. He was getting the shots from the elbow, in the mid-range, getting what he wanted. Anthony Edwards had a bad game in the first half, but towards the end, he started to drive the lane and get, a few easy shots. And, turnovers, Westbrook with turnovers, he's going to have to limit the turnovers. I wouldn't say, well, I am going to say this. This is just my personal opinion. I would trade Russell Westbrook, and I think that if they were to get Jeremy Grant, defensively, it's going to be hard for teams to score on the Lakers, because tonight they proved tonight that they could take it to a very high extreme. And I already predicted that this was going to happen, that defensively, and you can go back and watch the recent video I just did about Stanley Johnson, how I said that the Lakers' defensive rating is going to skyrocket because Frank Vogel is already a defensive-minded coach, and he's a great coach in terms of scheming and being, just all-around great defensive coach, which is why he was brought there in the first place. So that the defensive intensity was just on another level. It was a really great game. I'm going to go over the stats for you guys. Maybe you guys didn't get to see it, but LeBron James had 26.7 rebounds, 5 assists. And LeBron James shooting a lot better from the free throw line, and he's, knocking down three-point shots. Carmelo Anthony hit some big-time shots tonight. Austin Reeves was taking a charge. He took a charge. It was a really great game, man. It's a really great game. And when I say it's a great game, trust me, it was a great game. I love basketball. And they did a really good job tonight. The Lakers did a phenomenal job tonight, especially on the defensive end. Very impressive win. I think the Lakers needed this win, and they have the next few games, like they play the Sacramento Kings. I think that should be, I'm not going to say that's an easy win, because no win is easy at this point for the Lakers, because they are right now, I believe, at the 7th seed. So right now, the Lakers need to go on a winning streak just so they could, kind of turn the tide in terms of winning, so they could get back up into the top seeds and get back in that conversation, of being one of the top premier teams in the league. So they could be respected amongst the rest of the teams and be a legit teams. But tonight, Malik Monk just seemed like he couldn't miss tonight. He was just knocking down shot after shot. and they kept feeding them the ball. It was really, that's all I could keep saying is just that it was a great game. It's no way that you could, if you're a Laker fan, it's nothing that you could really pinpoint that would be, offensive rebounding. That's one thing. Another thing that needs to be corrected, the offensive rebounding has to get better. But, Dwight Howard didn't play tonight. And also, once Anthony Davis comes back, and this is why I said the Lakers should not trade Anthony Davis. If Anthony Davis comes back and look even similar to, even if Anthony Davis comes back and be 84% of the defensive player that he was in 2020, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem because tonight on the defensive end, the Lakers was just on a different level. The offensive glass, they got to get better at rebounding. They got a lot of, the Minnesota Timberwolves got a lot of rebounds, and they got a lot of second chance points. They was kicking it out, and they was able to hit these threes. The guys was getting to the basket, driving the lane with ease. Lakers got to do better at clogging up the paint so it could force these guys to kick the ball out and force them to take tougher shots. Some of those shots you could live with. And also Karl-Anthony Towns didn't play. D'Angelo Russell didn't play. But it's really no excuses, man. The Lakers, this was really a great game. I knew as long as they had Patrick Beverley out there, they was going to compete. Anthony Edwards, he struggled tonight. And I attribute that to the Lakers defense and also to Avery Bradley. He's such a pit bull. He's a pest on defense. In the third quarter, the Lakers seemed to lose their momentum, and it allowed the Minnesota Timberwolves to get back in the game, to climb back in the game, go on a run, and it allowed them to change the tide. However, the Lakers were still able to get that momentum back and to constantly fight all the way through. There was a moment that I just watched the video where Phil Handy and LeBron James had a dispute, quick argument, I think because people saying LeBron wanted to get a last shot, but I mean, it was the second half, like we're going into halftime. A lot of players nowadays, they don't want to mess up their shooting percentage, so they don't even take shots. They let the clock run out, where back in the day, they'd try to get a half-court shot. And LeBron is famous for walking off the court anyway, so I don't understand why he would be upset about that anyway. But moving on. But the turnovers was a huge issue. Russell Westbrook had, all the turnovers himself. But at the end of the day, this is who LeBron James wanted. Me personally, if I was the GM, I would try to trade Russell Westbrook for Jeremy Grant or try to make some room. I have to clear room to try to get Bradley Beal next year. Like, it's a must that I get Bradley Beal. If I'm LeBron James, I want Bradley Beal because I'm gonna be I'm be 38 years old going into the next season. So if I plan on trying to stay around to a 40 and try to win that championship, I keep saying Avery Bradley. I want Bradley Beal to be able to come in, and him and Anthony Davis could carry me, and I could try. That's when I know that I could rely on these two guys to take the pressure off me and to be able to try to get a fifth and sixth ring or whatnot. Jeremy Grant comes in here. It's going to take they're going to be an elite defensive team to where if you already have Avery Bradley, you already have defensive monsters, you have some really guys who are great on-ball defenders, and forcing them to take difficult shots, forcing them, causing turnovers, all these different things, being able to switch defensively, and no matter who's switching on defense, y'all communicating. No matter who's switching, each person that's defending is going to give you a tough night. It's going to make you fight for each bucket. And adding Jeremy Grant would do that for the Lakers. And they just flipped that switch tonight, and I was proud of what I seen from the Lakers, honestly. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. Austin Reeves is a great, a bright spot for the Lakers. He's a really great asset for the Lakers. Who else? I'm trying to think if I'm missing something. But they're gonna be a tough team to beat once Anthony Davis comes back, honestly. I could see them, like I said, stand around that fifth seed And I can see them trying to get anybody problems, honestly. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all get in that comment box, like, share, subscribe. I'm out.